Okay, picture this. A battlefield so massive, you can't even see the end of it. We're talking millions of soldiers, chariots, elephants, just stretching out to the horizon. This is Kurukshetra, the legendary stage for one of the greatest epics ever told. And today, we're going to dive right into the very first moments of this huge conflict, because there's a secret hidden there that changes everything.
I mean, that sounds impossible, right? How can you lose a war before a single arrow has even been shot? Well, that's the big question we're tackling in this explainer. We're going to see how one tiny action, just a few words, can expose a fatal flaw, a flaw that basically dooms an entire army from the get-go. So let's get into the ancient text that holds all the clues.
All right, Section 1, a moment on the field. Let's really set the scene here. You've got these two massive armies just staring each other down, ready for a fight that's going to change history forever. The air is just electric with tension. You can almost hear the silence before the conch shells blow. So out of this giant sea of warriors, we're going to zoom in, like way in, on just one guy, Prince Duryodhana. He's the leader of the Kaurava army. And get this, everything, and I mean everything that's about to happen, it all hinges on what he does and says right here, right now. It's that critical. Okay, next up, the secret of a verse. Now, our key to unlocking this whole thing, it's hidden inside a single verse, one that's about 2,000 years old. And on the surface, it seems pretty straightforward. But trust me, it's packed with a huge psychological secret. A secret about leadership, about confidence, and most importantly, about fear. And here it is. This is our primary evidence, the thing we're about to put under the microscope. It's the second verse of the first chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. And honestly, even if you can't read Sanskrit, just look at it. You can feel the history, the weight of those words, can't you? So here's the direct translation. It's basically a play-by-play. Sanjaya, who's the narrator here, is just reporting what's happening. He says, King Duryodhana looked at the Pandava army, walked over to his teacher, and started talking. Seems simple enough, right? But the real secret isn't in what's happening, it's in the how. It's all about what that simple action implies. All right, let's go deeper. It's time to really get into the depth of the words. We're going to put this thing under a microscope and find all the subtle clues hidden in the language. So first off, the verse calls Duryodhana Raja. That literally means the king. Now, when you hear the word king, what pops into your head? Probably power, right? Authority. Someone who is totally in command, who gives orders from a place of strength. A king doesn't need to go to anyone. People come to him. Just hold that image in your mind for a second. Okay, check this out. This word-for-word breakdown is where it gets really interesting. Look at the action words here. First, drishtva, which means after seeing. So he sees something. And then, apasangamya, approaching or going near. Now think about that. The text doesn't say he sent some messenger. It says the king, the Raja himself, physically got up and went to his teacher after seeing the enemy army. This right here is the crucial detail. And this is where it all just clicks. This is the moment of the broken mask. Because that one simple action, the king approaching his teacher, it shatters the whole illusion of the confident, powerful ruler. In the very next verses, Duryodhana is going to talk a big game. He's going to list all his powerful warriors and act all tough. But it's just talk. His body language, his physical movement, has already given him away. He's betrayed his true feelings before he's even said a word. And that, right there, is the heart of it. Behind that diplomatic mask is hidden fear. His actions scream fear. The second he laid eyes on the Pandavas' army, seeing how disciplined and perfectly organized they were, his confidence just crumbled. He stopped acting like a Raja and started acting like a scared guy who desperately needed someone to tell him it was all going to be okay. Let's just break this down because it's so important. A confident king? He commands from his post, right? From his chariot, the center of his power. He doesn't abandon it. But that's what Duryodhana does. He's not going to give an order, he's looking for reassurance. The sight of that disciplined army completely unnerved him. So all that bravado he's about to put on, it's just a front, a diplomatic veneer to hide the pure fear that's just taken hold of him. All right, so the first crack. Why does this one tiny moment of fear matter so much in the grand scheme of things? Well, because it's not just about him. It's not just a personal slip-up. This is the very first crack in the entire foundation of his army, his kingdom, his whole cause. And this visual just nails the whole idea, doesn't it? The crack in his own internal confidence. That cracked mask.
It perfectly mirrors the crack that's about to appear in the foundation of his kingdom. His inner weakness is literally a preview, a trailer, for his army's eventual defeat. So, what this verse really is an incredible piece of foreshadowing. It's showing us, right from the start, that any cause built on a shaky foundation of unrighteousness, what's known as a dharma, is just unstable. It can't last. Duryodhana's sphere is the first little tremor, the first sign that the whole building is doomed to collapse. For him, the war was already lost, right here, in this moment. And honestly, that's the real beauty of a text like the Bhagavad Gita. It's not just some high-level philosophical textbook. It is a deep, razor-sharp analysis of human emotions, fears, and beliefs. It shows us that what's going on inside our heads, our fears, our insecurities, has real, tangible, and powerful consequences out in the world. And that kind of leaves us with a pretty deep question to think about, doesn't it? If a single verse written 2,000 years ago can so perfectly pinpoint the beginning of the end for an entire empire, it makes you wonder, what are the first cracks in our own lives? What are those small, seemingly meaningless moments that might actually be revealing the endings of our own stories, long before we think they're written?